Hey friends, welcome back to Intentional Motherhood, where we're all about slowing down, showing up, and creating a life that feels full. I'm your host, Kelsey Redd, a stay-at-home mom of 4 little ones, formerly a mental health counselor, and a lover of nature, and a lover of the moon. Yes, I said it, the moon, and that's what we're talking about today. I love the moon and the moon phases and watching the moon and allowing it to guide my rhythms. And you guys know I'm all about rhythms and rituals and the importance of having those times and seasons. And this is one that God gave us, along with the seasons of the year, the sunrise and sunset, the spring and the harvest. He has given us the rhythm of the moon. And it is so beautiful when we understand some of the history, the culture, and even the spiritual practices that can go along with the moon phases. So why am I talking about this right now today? It feels a little maybe different than what we normally talk about, but I just had to. If you're listening to this the day it's released, it is a full moon tonight and it is gorgeous. Look up at the moon, and we're going to do actually a little meditation at the end of the podcast episode today, where you really can go out and have a little mini full moon ritual to release some maybe negative thoughts or fears that you've been holding on to and that you're ready to release. So let's get into it. First, let's talk about how women across history have connected to the moon as a symbol of feminine energy, feminine power, release, renewal, cycle, and spirituality. Across the ancient cultures, the moon is seen as a symbol of the feminine energy. The Mayan culture is especially passionate about the moon, and their moon goddess has everything to do with fertility, midwifery, motherhood, and womanhood. And the moon cycle in the Mayan culture is actually viewed as the process of the woman's life, with the new moon being the beginning and the waxing period being the young womanhood or the maiden. The full moon represents the mother, and the waning phase of the moon represents the wise woman, the wisdom of womanhood in older age. And I love that idea of understanding that each phase in a woman's life has a specific intention and sacredness, along with we can connect to the parts of ourselves within each phase of the moon throughout the month, even with the waxing being more of a fertility time, the full moon representing a culmination, a power, and a time for release, and the waning being a time of resting, wisdom, and receiving. The Chinese culture has an especially adorable symbolism for the moon. In this tradition, the moon is given a grandmotherly role. Isn't that the most tender and adorable thing you have ever heard of? That soft, wise, constant presence who watches over us with gentleness, reminding us to slow down and savor beauty. I love this idea of the grandmotherly spirit because I often actually, for years, I've done this. I go outside on a full moon like tonight, and it just feels like you can look up to the moon and just tell this grandmotherly spirit your concerns and your fears and your worries. And she just seems to be so nurturing and so tender and loving in how she receives that and then passes back her wisdom and her support. So that's something I highly recommend that you incorporate into your moon phase rituals. But across cultures and history, the moon has always been associated with feminine, intuitive, emotional, powerful, and receptive. The moon is a symbol of mystery. It's a teacher of sacred timing, and it's a mirror of our soul. So what else did the ancients know that maybe we have forgotten? These ancient cultures were not obsessed with the hustle that we seem to be getting into. They weren't afraid of the darkness or the shadow sides of themselves or of the world. And they watched the sky and learned to live by the rhythms of the moon and the seasons. And I feel like we've forgotten that we were also created for cycles. Especially as women, we obviously know that there are cycles we run through month to month, but also in our journey as women, there are times and seasons. We were never meant to be on all the time. It's not possible, it's not necessary for us to constantly be in our blooming or harvesting season. We were designed by our loving and intentional creator of the universe who created the moon, the stars, the solar system, to also have periods of waxing and waning, of expansion and then rest, of power and energy and then stillness, of fullness and of release. So tonight, on this full moon, I invite you to let go of some of the pressures that you've been holding on to be more, to do more, to always be fixing or finishing or proving yourself. I want you to take this full moon practice, and if you're not listening to this on a full moon, maybe bring this into the next full moon that you happen to experience. And allow yourself to just pause for a moment. Take a breath. Go outside, let yourself be touched by the moonlight. Let those moonbeams caress your skin. And maybe ask, what has come to fullness in my life recently? What do I need to release? What fears or limiting beliefs am I ready to let go of? What is the Spirit inviting me to lay down and let go so that I can make space for what really matters and what God is ready to give me so that I have space to receive now? As you look to the full moon, as you connect with the universe, to the divine source, to God, just listen to the rhythm. Let the moon remind you that you are also in a cycle. You also have times and seasons. You also have phases to follow. And if it feels good to you, grab a piece of paper and write a little note about something that you're ready to release. A belief, a burden, a fear, and maybe say it out loud. God, I release this negative belief, or I no longer choose to hold on to this fear. And I trust you to hold what I no longer need. And then you can throw the paper away, burn it in a safe way, of course. But just imagine it lifting away into the night sky, releasing into the power of the universe, and end with this prayer of reception. Let me be filled with what matters and free from what doesn't serve me. Let me release anything that has been holding me back and receive what you have in store for me. I hope on this full moon that you have a little idea of some way that you could connect with the universe and connect with nature the way women and cultures have been for centuries. And I encourage you to watch the moon phase progress. If you didn't catch this episode the day it's released, watch the phases as they wax and wane and catch the next full moon and give yourself the gift of connecting with the moon and releasing anything that's not serving you. And then receiving the wisdom and intuition and emotional energy from the full moon. And then go into a period of resting as the moon wanes and get ready for the renewal and rebirth of the new moon, and it all starts all over again. It's that beautiful rhythm that we can sync with. If you enjoyed this episode, let me know by leaving a review. Connect with me on Instagram at creating.intentional.mothers. And let me know how you're doing, what you're struggling with, anything you'd like to hear talked about. And I'll see you next time on Intentional Motherhood.